can you just introduce yourself and your role here at SNHU?
Yes. Hi, I'm Sonja Moffett, and I'm a career engagement partner here at SNHU. I've been with the university for about 9.5 years. I currently work, as I mentioned, in the career engagement partnership role, where I work with our academic leadership and the ID teams on the integration of career competencies into the learner journey. So that includes everything from the assessment, from the career development piece, as well as experiential learning programming that I oversee. I also am one of the administrators for our new virtual career center called Career 360 and an adjunct instructor.
Why are degrees in this area of study important?
Well, in 2025, a degree in human resources is very important because it's evolving rapidly due to the advancement in things like AI, remote work, and workforce analytics. And companies need HR professionals who understand both the traditional and people management skills and also understand the emerging HR technologies. An HR degree in 2025 is not just about hiring and firing. It's about leveraging the technology and driving business strategy and then creating a positive workforce culture. Companies need HR leaders who can balance the human insight with the AI-driven decision-making that is going on with the ATSs in terms of building the workforce of the future. A lot of times recently, HR is also referred to as the people team, so you'll probably hear that term as well. So they are synonymous.
So what are human resources within an organization, and why is this field vital to the working environment?
Well, according to the Society of Human Resource Management, which is SHRM, and people have probably heard that, SHRM, HR consists of several key functional areas that support the organization's workforce. That could include recruiting, managing and developing employees within the organization, them understanding labor laws and employee relations and workplace policies. But also, this field is vital because it supports employee well-being, engagement, and career growth, which directly impacts the company's performance. So HR handles compensation, benefits, performance management. They also handle HR technology with the use of HCM, which is human capital management systems, as well as their ATSs, and the HRIS, which is a function that integrates with IT. And this is to improve hiring, retention strategies, workforce planning, and ultimately HR is essential for managing a positive work experience for all employees, reducing turnover and driving those business outcomes.
So what are the basic functions of a human resources team, and what are the areas of specialty found within a team?
When you think about the basic functions, again, it plays a critical role in ensuring that HR not only manages the employee experience, but also drives the business success through talent in the organization and talent optimization and compliance and employee well-being. And there are some different roles that people can get into when they're looking at HR, such as talent acquisition and workforce planning. Some people may think of that as recruitment, right? Then there's employee engagement and retention. So that has a lot to do with the employee experience. How happy are our employees, and are they staying with our organization? This is a retake. So it also deals with employee engagement and retention. How happy are employees when they come to work, and are they going to stay for the long term? Learning and development is very important because as technology continues to develop and evolve, you want to have a workforce that's going to be able to move forward with it because, as we mentioned, our employees are tied to the outcomes of the company. So learning and development is a continuous process, and it also is something that encompasses the company culture. Then there's total rewards, which is compensation and benefits. And of course, this is what people are coming to work for. That really motivates people, besides some of the things like enjoying their actual job. But compensation and benefits, total rewards. What does the PTO look like? Do they offer any type of benefits, such as maybe going to the gym? And maybe the company will supplement some of that payment. So those are some of the total rewards, just a few, but that's another area that people who are going into HR can do. And then there is HR technology and data analytics, which I mentioned earlier. And this is HRIS, which is Human Resources Information Systems, and AI-driven recruitment and performance tracking, and then people analytics for decision-making. And that really ties back to the workforce planning. And then there's the part of HR that deals with performance management, which is self-explanatory. And then employee and labor relations. So if there are conflicts within the organization, then there's mediation, or maybe there are union negotiations if they work in an organization that supports unions. And then, of course, workplace investigations should anything happen on the workforce. Then there's the area of HR compliance and risk management. And so this really is going to be looking at employment laws and making sure that the company is in compliance with laws such as the FLSA, which is the Family Leave Act, and then FMLA, which is the Family Medical Leave Act, OSHA, which deals with safety in the workplace, and other compliance issues like that. So HR policies and the handbooks are also handled underneath the compliance arm of HR. And then there's HR strategy and organizational development. And so that's going to align with the business goals, right? So you're talking about your HRBPs, change management, and then managers and acquisitions. If there is an acquisition of your company, who's going to come into the HR department and really be able to facilitate any type of changes within the workforce. So these are some of the overarching functions of HR.
So my next question, you've kind of answered some of it already, but what are some of the responsibilities involved in a human resource role?
Yeah, so as an HR team is responsible for hiring, training, managing benefits, ensuring compliance with labor laws, they focus on talent acquisition and employee relations, performance management, and workforce planning to support the business success. And within an HR team, specialists may focus on compensation or benefits. So there are different areas, like we mentioned in the earlier one, where we're looking at compliance and HR analytics. Some HR professionals, such as HR business partners, which you'll hear as HRBPs, they really look at aligning HR strategies with the company goals. HR has evolved, so we're looking at HR business partners who will look at growing the team in terms of technology and AI, data analytics, and other areas where it ties back to business outcomes. So HR really helps to create that positive work environment that attracts and retains talent.
What type of skills are needed with HR roles?
That's a great question. So human resources roles involve recruiting, hiring, onboarding to build those strong workforce, dynamics. They manage employee relations. So some of the skills that will come along with that is really not just administrative, because once upon a time, HR was more transactional. The new HR professional is really a business partner. So they're really looking at things such as supporting business leaders throughout the organization. From a recruitment standpoint, understanding what the jobs entail in a particular department, working with those departmental managers to understand what they're looking for when they're looking to fill a position. Also, from the employee relations standpoint, understanding how employees are feeling is putting a pulse on that. So we have tools like Workday and other tools that take analytics and really ask the employees, what are your experiences like in the organization? How can we make those experiences better? So having that ear close to the employee and understanding how they're feeling about the organization is a really great thing, that another skill that can be incorporated. Data analytics is huge, as I mentioned before, because we're talking about workforce planning. And with technology advancing and department managers looking to staff up their departments, or maybe they need to reduce their workforce. This is where HR becomes a great partner for them, because maybe there doesn't have to necessarily be a layoff, but maybe there can be some training, which ties into this as well, the learning and development piece, where you redefine some of the roles for some of the people within the organization. And then, of course, some of the other things like PTO, et cetera. So these are some of the skills that are going to be vital for the new HR professional.
So what industries have the highest demand for HR professionals?
So industries with the highest demand for HR professionals include technology, healthcare, and finance, where talent acquisition and compliance are very critical, right? Because you have a lot of legislation around how finance works with SOC, and of course with healthcare laws, OSHA. But other industries are manufacturing and retail, hospitality and tourism, government, and nonprofit organizations. Let me think. And then there's the educational sector, maybe even consulting firms. So HR analytics, these all work in all different types of industries. And not every company has an HR department. Some people have generalists that they hire if they're smaller companies or mid-sized companies. So all of these different competencies are going to be important in any industry that an HR professional goes into.
How would someone transition from another field into HR?
To transfer into HR, you want to start by gaining a thorough knowledge, first of all, which our students are gaining through their program, whether they're going through our bachelor or master degree program. But we do encourage our students to couple that with HR certifications like the SHRM CP or the PHR or the APHR for those who are just getting started at an entry level role. And they don't have to, for those with the entry level role, don't necessarily already have to have their degree. They can continue earning the degree and get that certification, but the degree is going to prepare them to test for those certifications. This is going to give them a leg up on the competition, or at least align them with their competition. Because remember, we have the non-traditional student, and so they are coming out of different industries or maybe different functional roles into an HR role. So having the degree plus the certifications, knowledge of the software, those are going to be very important for people who are looking to transition from one role to this other one. And they want to continue to take those HR related tasks and courses. We have a relationship with LinkedIn Learning where students can go on and get additional learnings as well. So all of this comes together and synthesizes them in a way where they can add these newfound competencies, certifications, software, and micro credentials to their resumes. But they also want to get some experiences. So while they're going through their program, it's great for them to do an experiential learning program through an internship. And if they're unable to do an internship, then they can look at some of the experiential learning programs that run throughout the term that may not be credit bearing, but will provide them with real world experience because they'll be working on actual case studies. So these are some of the things that students who are currently in one role or a different position, industry, and they're looking to get into HR, these are some of the things that they can do to really amplify their skills.
So what role does technology play in modern HR management?
It's a great question. Technology plays a crucial role in modern HR management by automating those administrative tasks such as payroll, benefits, administration, and recruitment. AI-driven tools help with resume screening, talent acquisition, and predictive analytics for workforce planning. HRIS, which is that human resources information systems, it streamlines the employee data management piece, performance tracking, and then compliance reporting. So all of that is within those different modules. Learning management systems, which they call LMSs, that supports the employee training and learning development. Different companies have different names for those. For SNHU, we use something called Compass for that learning and development piece. So as you can see, there are so many digital resources that are impacting HR. So it's important that our students and graduates have the competencies for this. Then there's employee self-service. This is another form of technology that's being utilized. This is when people can go in and plan their vacation, maybe their PTO, where they can go into the system and request specific dates for PTO. Then it's automated. It then comes into their manager's inbox and their manager is able to approve it, etc. So there are a lot of ways that technology impacts HR functions. And then analytics and data-driven insights help the business to evolve and make decisions about retention, about productivity, and things that impact the bottom line.
So for my final question, what's the impact of globalization on HR practices?
This is great. Globalization has expanded practices by requiring companies to manage diverse and international workforces across different cultures and legal systems. So compliance with global labor laws and regulations such as the GDPR for data privacy has become a key HR responsibility. And HR teams must develop inclusive practices that respect cultural differences across the globe, right? And so this is very important while they're still maintaining their company values. Remote work and international hiring, expatriates, as well as just the distributed workforce domestically, all of this has played a big part in the globalization of HR. And so it's very important that companies align with that and that people who are in HR understand the differences, the laws, and the compliance with those laws on the global scale. And that might include visa for people who are entering the country and want to work on a visa. So there are a number of compliance issues and laws that HR professionals want to utilize. And how that ties back to HR systems, really it requires HR professionals to navigate those time zones, right? Because people live in different time zones across the world. So it's managing that piece of it in terms of the distributed workforce. Compensation structures are also something that has to be a concern for HR professionals because the dollar is not equal to the euro and the euro is equal to something else. So there's that part of it. And then there's payroll. There are benefits, workforce analytics. Company culture might feel different in a different country than it does in America. So there are all of these different dynamics that HR practitioners need to be aware of for the global human resources perspective. Ultimately, globalization has made HR more strategic, data-driven, and culturally aware to support multinational businesses.
That was all the questions I had, but was there anything else you wanted to add before we wrap this up?
So for our students here at SNHU, whether they are pursuing an AS, a BS, or an MS degree, we have a site. It is our new virtual career center called Career 360, where our students can go on and they can learn more about entry level, mid-level, and senior level roles. They can go in and look at the different certifications that I mentioned earlier, because I couldn't mention them all, but there are some additional ones that they can learn about to enhance their portfolio, their professional portfolio, and to give themselves an opportunity to be competitive with those who have been working in field, but now they're coming out of school and they're competing against those individuals. There are so many ways that we help to support you. We also have a number of events that we do here at SNHU. And if you miss them because maybe you're at work or you have some other competing priorities, you can go online and watch those asynchronously and when you have time. And if you ever have questions, of course, you can reach out to our career services department because they're going to, as you are going through your program, they're also going to help walk you through career planning in advance. You don't want to wait till you graduate to start that process. You can be building your network while you're in school. You can be taking those courses on LinkedIn Learning. You're not going to get a grade for them. They're self-paced. You can be getting your certifications in APHR or the SHRM CP. So go to our website, the Career 360 site, click on business programs, and under human resource management, you'll find all the tools.